It's a cold, gray afternoon at the corner of 20th and Blake, but the Rockies are heating up and have a chance to sweep the Dodgers in their two-game series this afternoon after beating LA yesterday evening by a score of 3-0. Rockies looking for their third straight win this afternoon, but the big news this morning is Ubaldo Jimenez, who was put on the 15-day DL, retroactive to April 2nd. He could be back as early as April 17th. In the meantime, they have brought up Greg Reynolds. He will pitch on Saturday for the Rockies. With more, let's get it upstairs to Drew Goodman and Jeff Houston. Guys?
All right, Tom, thanks very much. From Jim Tracy's standpoint, from the organization's standpoint, it's the right thing to do. Don't let it linger.
Well, I think it was an easy call, too, because you've got a guy who's your ace, your horse, whatever you want to call him, and all of a sudden, if he starts to go out there and alter his grip a little bit, then he hurts his arm. Then you're in a world of hurt. And I think Ubaldo has said it best. I had an opportunity to talk to him this morning. He goes, my arm feels great. So that is the good thing. It's just these two blisters or cuts on my finger that I've had since spring training. They're kind of in different spots than what the first one was. But you look at him, if you can back him off now and really get this thing cleared up, then you don't have any lingering problems as you move forward in the season. If you try to push it a little bit and you lose him again, then it could be a month sort of thing, if not longer.
Absolutely. It is early April, and to second what Ubaldo told us this morning, he said his arm feels perfect. So this is not masking something else that's going on. It has everything to do with the thumb right now. And Jim Tracy had his thoughts this morning on the move.
By backing up here and not sending him to that mound in high-intensity, high-stress type of environment, we're able to control the situation here pretty well, and we've got a real good chance to grab a complete handle on this and be done with it.
So that's the bottom line, a prudent decision by the Rockies. Again, Jimenez eligible to come off the disabled list on April 17th. It is Hamel time. He'll have the baseball today. More on Jason when we return. mic'd up day, our first of the year, and look who's got the microphone on. That Huey, you were asking me earlier, that's Carlos Gonzalez. He'll play left field. Yeah, he'll play left field, bat third this afternoon. A few minutes in front of first pitch, the Rockies and Dodgers. Great win last night for the Rockies, 3-0 over LA. Jason Hamill gets the baseball this afternoon. Made some changes in his delivery we'll talk about in a moment, but this is the new rotation. Esmil Rogers, he was scheduled to open up that series now in Pittsburgh for the last couple of days. De La Rosa will go Friday. Greg Reynolds gets called up. Reynolds pitched a lot of innings this spring and really made strides. He'll have the baseball Saturday. Then Chacin and Hamill again.
Well, you look at De La Rosa, it's just kind of an extra day, but then Reynolds sliding into a Baldo spot, Chacin, and then Hamill. And the guy, to me now, that has a little bit of pressure on him is the guy that's out there throwing today is Jason Hamill. Here's a guy that has, in my estimation, a chance to win 15 ball games this year. Won 7 ball games here at Coors Field last year. The thing about Jason, what he did during spring training, he got the ball out of his glove just a little bit quicker. Didn't stab behind his back as much and drop it down. Got it out. That allows his fastball to get on top just a little bit more. And also that will help with his breaking pitches, his curveball, his changeups. But more importantly for him, I think it'll help him get that downhill playing that we talk about. So he's working down into the zone more and not such a flat pitch coming into it.
Take advantage of being 6'7".
Exactly. Why not? I mean, that's a gift you have. Use it.
Yeah, that is what one should do when they're 6'7". I have no idea what that is like. When we come back, we have baseball. Rockies and Dodgers. Jason Hamill will try to make it 2 straight against LA. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Ford Super Duty. Built stronger, tougher, better. Built Ford Tough. Ford Super Duty. Drive one. By the fast, reliable, secure, heavy-duty internet from Quest. And by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates.
Let's go to work. Up the middle, every time. Did you see my BP today? 1 home run.
Sick.
And everything was like,
Genius. Oh!
Words from Carlos Gonzalez as he warmed up a few minutes ago. He's ready to go out in left field. And Rafael Furcal is in the batter's box. Glad you're with us on a chilly Wednesday afternoon at Coors Field. Getaway day for the Rockies and Dodgers. Jason Hammel's first pitch of the season is right over the outside corner at 93 for strike one on Furcal. Furcal played pepper with Jose Lopez yesterday. 4 times up, Huey.
4 to 3s.
And this will be a 3 unassisted. Todd Helton at first base runs to the bag. Furcal is out number 1 in the top of the first inning. Let's look at Don Mattingly's starting lineup presented by Southwest.com. You'll have Casey Blake fresh off the disabled list. He'll be in the 2-hole. Then Andre Ethier naturally. Matt Kemp, James Loney. Juan Uribe's at second base this afternoon. Xavier Paul gets a start in left field. Rod Barajas again behind the plate. And the very talented right-hander Chad Billingsley will bat ninth. Here's Casey Blake. And that's just off the plate, ball 1. A closer look at the work from last year of Jason Hamm.
Second time he's won double digits. He was 7-2 with a 4.07 ERA here at Coors Field last year.
And that fastball's too tall. Blake has battled some back issues. And that's why he started the year on the disabled list. You know, he's a veteran guy. He's been around for a long time. He's been a very good big league offensive player and a good big league third baseman. So he was not sent out for a rehab assignment. You say, well, why would he? It's just a few days. Well, here's why. He had only 13 at-bats in spring training. He was 1 for 13 before the back started bothering him. Look out. Wow, that's not even close.
Well, part of the problem you have, though, is a lot of the minor league seasons have not started. They'll start tomorrow. So it's tough to send guys out on a rehab other than leave them in Arizona to continue.
Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Cargo, Dexter Fowler, Seth Smith in the outfield. It's Stewart at third, Tulowitzki at short, Jose Lopez and Todd Helton on the right side. Chris Iannetta with the hot bat getting work today. I think many people, including us, thought maybe it would be Jose Morales, day game after a night game. That's kind of typical. But it is Iannetta back there. So Blake at first on the 4-pitch walk. Andre Ethier at the plate. 1 for 2 and a pair of walks last night for Ethier. And he pulls it to Helton. Chance for 2. There's 1. There's 2. Let's go to the dugout. 3-6-3, a 6-pitch first inning for Jason Hammel, and 4 of them were out of the strike zone.
Pretty near start.
As he worked just 6 pitches in that first inning to get 3 outs despite a 4-pitch walk. Kind of a strange inning. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Rockies presented by Southwest.com. Dexter Fowler up top, Seth Smith in the 2-hole. Then Cargo, Tulowitzki, and Helton. Todd threw out a hit off the left field wall last night. Jose Lopez leads the club with 3 RBIs in the early going. And Ian Stewart, Chris Iannetta, and Jason Hammel to face a trimmed down Chad Billingsley.
And he got a big contract, too. 3-year deal signed through 2014. Got a win in his opening start this year against the San Francisco Giants, a 4-3 victory. Just gave up a 3-run home run. That was it.
So here's Dexter, and the fastball rides high. Yeah, Brandon Belt The rookie first baseman for San Francisco hit a 3-run home run off him. Otherwise, he was pretty sound. Another former Dodger #1 pick. That's a strike. Back in 2003, he was the 24th selection in the first round. And what people may not realize about Billingsley, he's won 53 games since 2007. That's tied with Roy Oswalt, the 6th most in the National League.
Yeah, Adam Wainwright's #1 on that list was 64, and then Derek Lowe, Bronson Arroyo, Tim Lincecum, and Ted Lilly, a teammate of his.
Yeah, guys who take the baseball every fifth day.
Every fifth day. Don't miss those starts.
And the 2-1 is swung on and missed, 2-2.
The one thing I have noticed from Billingsley is he's probably not that same power guy he used to be with the 4-seam fastball at 93 to 94 miles an hour. He varies his speed a little bit and try to sink it and cut it just a little bit more now.
This ball is down the line, foul. Well, Billingsley, in some ways, similar to Kershaw. He got to the big leagues in a hurry. This is his 6th year in the big leagues. He's just 26, and we know that Kershaw hit the big leagues at 20. He's just 23. Rockies beat him last night. 2-2, and a foul ball.
Well, the thing for Billingsley, too, is in his 6 full years here now at the big league level, he's 19 games over 500. That to me is one of those impressive stats that kind of jumps out at you. He's 60 and 41 with the 3.56 ERA in all those starts.
High, 3-2. Another stat that I really like to look at to gauge a pitcher's stuff, Huey, and I think you would concur with me, is batting average against. In his career, the league has hit .224 against him.
That's amazing.
This is chopped to first, and an easy play for James Loney, 1 out. Take a look at the Dodgers and how they will align defensively for Don Mattingly. Xavier Paul's in left field, Matt Kemp in center, Andre Ethier in right. Blake at third for Kyle, not the same range or arm that he used to have. Juan Uribe was at third last night, at second this afternoon. Loney's got a very good glove at first, and Rod Barajas is behind the plate. And with 1 out, that'll bring to the plate Seth Smith. Smith did not appear last night against Kershaw. Spielborg's got the start in right field. Smith had 3 hits on opening day, 4 for his first 10 here in 2011. And he takes down low. Gary Darling is working home plate. He is the crew chief. Bruce Dreckman at first, Paul Emmel at second, Rob Drake is at third. And that misses, 2-0. I think with Billingsley, Huey, because he's so gifted, the Dodgers assumed that he won 16 games a couple years ago, that whatever he did, it wasn't enough. I mean, if he went out and won 12 or 13, it should have been 17 or 18.
Pretty high expectations.
This ball drilled to the gap in right center field, and it's going to run to the wall. It'll be another double for Seth Smith. That's his 3rd already on the season. So a 1-out double for Smith. Boy, is he ever in a good place starting April 2011.
Well, all that hard work he did with Carney Lansford this winter and carried it over into spring training, and now ahead in the count 2-0 with the ball that is up and away from him. He's able to hit it in the right center field gap. And Andre Ethier, that route he took at the baseball was a little bit too straight. He should have come back and gone behind it a little bit more. Not that he would have probably been able to cut it off, but I think that ball caught him by surprise how much topspin and carry it had to go to the wall.
Well, here's Cargo, and Huey with our mic'd up segment right off the top of the broadcast. You heard him say, I only hit 1 home run during batting practice. He usually hits about 10. He said, I was just hitting darts to left and left center. Let's see if that batting practice approach pays off here in his first at bat in the ball game.
Well, all I know is I saw him hit one right back up the middle. Unfortunately, Marv Foley, who threw the batting practice to him today, had that L screen out there. Otherwise, it was going to do some damage. They had to check the L screen to make sure there was no netting that was ripped after he hit it.
And this is fouled off, 0-2. Tulowitzki on deck. Rockies trying to get a quick jump on Billingsley. There's Troy. Outfield extremely deep and basically straight up.
Slight pull on the infield.
And that's a chase pitch the first half of 2010 for Carlos Gonzalez.
Yeah, he'd fall behind in the count, and then they didn't even have to throw a ball that was anywhere close to the zone. A breaking pitch down, changeup, curveball, whatever it may be, and he would end up chasing it.
One of the interesting things about the start of a new season for veteran players, they're going on last year's scouting report. This ball pulled down the line, fair ball. Rockies will get a run. Smith will score. Cargo heading to second, and he'll have a double as well. 1-0 Colorado.
He went back-to-back pitches with that curveball. This last one was at 78 miles an hour. One previous he buried into the dirt. This one he left out of the dirt, but just enough where Carlos could get the barrel to it and hit it right down the line. Barajas wanted it down, but that ball did not go down. It was about at the knees. Hit it inside the bag at first. All James Loney could do was look at it.
That hurt my ears, the sound. Here's Tulowitzki, and he pops this one up for Call and Blake, and it'll be Rafael for Call. Gonzalez had 117 RBIs last year, and he has #1 this year. 2 outs, and Todd Helton will try to bring him home. High ball 1 on Helton.
Well, the one area so far in this young season that the Rockies have excelled is with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. They're hitting .286.
And Jose Lopez had a huge 2-out hit last night.
All 3 runs scored last night were with 2 outs.
Yeah, the 2 home runs with 2 outs, and then Lopez, after they passed on facing Troy Tulowitzki, Lopez expanded the lead from 2-0 to 3-0. And you know what, psychologically, Huey, that's a big deal.
Well, especially against Clayton Kershaw.
Yep.
The dominance that he's had against the Rockies.
2-0 misses, 3-0. Being very careful here with Helton, and guess who's on deck?
I was just looking down in the dugout to see if Don Mattingly might put him on 3-0.
Lopez awaits. And Billingsley misses 4 times. So Helton goes to first. And Jose Lopez will come up looking for another 2-out knock to drive in a run. Who wants tacos, fans? Remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locales the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Johnny Herrera was the rage during spring training, and Johnny will be an instrumental figure for the Rockies throughout this season. You can count on it. But Jose Lopez is the hot man to start this season, and he's in there for the 4th straight ball game, and he takes strike 1.
Well, I think if you said going into the 4th game who led the Rockies in RBIs, Jose Lopez would not be at the top of your list. But there he is. Also hitting .364.
And for Lopez, as he takes inside 1-1, he's going to be taking mental notes on a regular basis because he's been in the American League his whole career. So he's getting to learn all these top pitchers, particularly in the NL West.
Yeah, he's only played 50 career games against teams in the National League West.
This ball pulled in the hole, base hit. And here comes Gonzalez. The throw by Paul is not in time. Jose Lopez coming through yet again here in the opening days of the season. 2-0 Colorado. Another 2-out knock from Lopez.
And that was really the downfall of the Rockies' offense last year, was with 2 outs, putting the ball in play. But from the ultra mode, a slider that just didn't do anything. Jose Lopez was able to get it because it just stayed flat in the zone, hit it by Casey Blake and left, and that's just an easy read for Richie Dower to send Carlos Gonzalez and the second run.
Cargo getting congratulated. Here's Ian Stewart with 2 aboard. That's inside. And again, we've talked about it now a couple of times. Pitching to last year's scouting report with Stewart, they come inside. We've seen every pitcher do it. Stewart's only had 5 at-bats this year, but Stewart's a little further off the plate.
It makes it so much easier to free up your body, your hands, and use those a little bit more. And that's where he'll become more comfortable the more he stays back there and stays off the plate to allow his arms to get the extension to drive the ball. The difference for Ian and other hitters as well, and we've talked about it, is he's got foul pole to foul pole power. So balls that are away from him out in this area, he can hit them to left center field.
1-2. Ian's parents are in town. Ran into them earlier this morning. They make a lot of road trips following their son. Here's the 1-2, and Stewart chops it slowly to second. Uribe will throw him out. So the Rockies get 2 in the first against Billingsley. Smith a double, Cargo a double, and another 2-out Uribe from Jose Lopez. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo. Alana?
All right, guys, thanks very much. Right above me, the 2010 Major League Soccer World Champions Colorado Rapids here today enjoying the ball game. And you know what? It gives me an opportunity to talk about 2 former Montreal Expos that are in the ballpark today. Tim Wallach, the Los Angeles Dodgers third base coach, as well as our own Jeff Houston, played together for the better part of 2 seasons with the Montreal Expos. Of course, Huey making his Major League debut in September of 1988. I talked to Tim Wallach today about Jeff Houston. He remembers him as being a good, solid player, a really good left-handed hitter, just an all-around good guy, and I had to tell him that I certainly concur. So, Huey, I'm going to send it back up to you. What do you remember about playing with Wally when he was at third and you were at short?
Well, just the type of player he was.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Who's he talking about?
I had him fooled. Don't worry about it. Can I tell the story?
Yeah.
No, he was the first guy that in spring training, I replaced him at third base because he started, and I remember Buck Rogers, our manager, came and said, "Can you play third base?" I'd never played in my life, but I said, "Sure." I figured, you know what?
there all the time.
If they hit it to me, I got to catch it and throw it to first. What I learned from Tim, though, was I think first and foremost how to play and be a professional at the big league level, because I think that's something that you learn. The other thing I learned from him is how to steal signs. I mean, he was one of those guys that he studied pitchers. He studied opposing coaches, managers, and he's a guy that the Rockies are going to have to watch throughout this whole series all year long, as far as making sure that you don't feel like they have your signs, because he's one of the best at doing it.
You know what I remember about Tim Wallach when he played? He was one of the best right-handed low ball hitters in the game.
It was like a golf shot. I mean, it was down. It was out of there in a hurry.
Boy, a jam shot, and Matt Kemp will be thrown out by Tulowitzki. Hamill got in his kitchen there, 1 out. James Loney will be coming up.
Hey, fans, you can be at Coors Field April 15th, 16th, and 17th to root on your Rockies against the Cubs. Cubs had 2 pitchers go down in the last couple days, Randy Wells and Cashner, both of them on the DL. Currently losing to the Diamondbacks today, 3-2 in the 5th.
Won the first 2 in that series. This is Luke Fowl by Loney. We had a nice talk with a guy you know well, Jeff Pentland, the hitting coach for the Dodgers. You guys were both in the Cubs system at the same time coaching, and we talked for a while about James Loney and his offensive ability. This ball's hit well to right field, and it is gone.
Like that?
Like that. And that's something he was talking about, that he's been mostly a doubles hitter, but he's got long appendages and should hit more home runs.
And that time he did. He got the slider, and even though he was out in front a little bit, and that's what Jeff Pentland talks about, is making sure that even though you get out onto that front leg a little bit, that you still have your hands back. He didn't get a whole lot of back leg drive off of that one. That was more of an upper body swing, and just hit right off the top of that auxiliary scoreboard and bounced out.
So a run in for the Dodgers, the first they've scored against the Rockies. Juan Uribe at the plate, 24 home runs. He drove in 85 last year, second in those 2 departments for the world champion Giants. He had 9 postseason RBIs. He had 5 in the World Series. And pulled deep in the hole. Tulowitzki, can he do it again? No problem. How does he do that? Time after time.
No problem?
No problem for him.
Yes. For everybody else, it's a big problem. And for the hitters, it's a big problem.
And the thing that you marvel at is the arm strength and the accuracy.
That's what gets me. I mean, like, you see some guys with the arm strength, that's for sure, but how many times do we see him make this play, whether he jumps and spins or throws it sidearm, that it's right in that area for Todd to be able to stretch, and what a stretch from Todd to be able to go out there and get it.
Can they start shipping him his second Gold Glove?
Might as well.
He may have a lock on that for a while. Xavier Paul with 2 outs. Takes strike 1 over the outside corner. Well, the Rockies had gone 13 2/3 innings with their starting pitching without giving up a run till the home run a moment ago by James Loney. I mean, De La Rosa, till he left with the blister, 5 1/3 shutout. Last night with Chacin, he goes 7 shutout innings. And then, to give you an idea how good he is and can be, he said, I really didn't have great stuff. Iannetta said, you know, he really didn't have great stuff last night, yet he threw 7 shutout innings.
Yeah, that talks about his future and how bright it is.
This is more routine for Troy, and he handles that one as well. He gets all 3 assists in the inning. James Loney hit one just over the right field wall, so it's a 2-1 ball game, middle of 2 at Coors Field on a Wednesday afternoon. Glad you're with us on Root Sports. Brought to you by E470. Sign up for Express Toll today and start paying 20% less on E470 tolls. First road trip awaits the Rockies 4 in Pittsburgh, 4 against the Mets in New York. Tomorrow is opening day in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. See Clint Hurdle and the Pirates, the improved Pirates. It's our E470 road ahead. Chris Ionetta at the plate with a 1-strike count against Chad Billingsley. And he lays off that 1-1. Well, Ionetta made it 2-0 last night with the long ball off Clayton Kershaw. His first of the year. He hit a couple this spring. His 50th career home run. The slider's outside.
Pretty good slugging percentage for Chris right now, 1,000. Leads the National League.
That's down low. Good eye. In many ways, Chris is a power guy, but he's also a pretty good guy to have in that 8th spot, Huey, because he will flip the lineup.
Well, and he's got some power, and I think that's what separates him from a lot of other 8th-place hitters in the National League.
This ball is hammered to center field. Kemp going back, still going back. It's off the wall. He's firing it in, and you know what? That is your basic 420-foot single.
Kind of reminds me of the ball Todd Helton hit last night, but Chris's was further. But the fact that it was hit so hard, they were able to get the ball in
and honestly,
keep
I
it to a
think
single.
it was a wise decision to shut it down after he rounded first.
It was. And the drive on that ball right back up the middle is what impresses me as well, because that ball was outer third. He stayed on it and drove it to dead center field.
Oh! Get over his head. Come on. Yeah, get the second. Come on.
Oh. Okay. Well.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. Catcher running. So Hamill tried to move him along to where Cargo wanted to see him get initially. That's a good looking bunt. Barajas will go to first. So Hamill moves Ionetta to second with 1 out, and that'll bring up Fowler.
And that's about really the only place Jason could have laid that down. Casey Blake at third was charging hard, as well as James Loney.
I think that goes down, folks, at least for me, in my time watching baseball, as the longest single I've ever seen. You've seen some, Helton had a 370-foot single yesterday. He gets thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. And every once in a while, you'll see a rocket off the wall and a corner outfielder fields it perfectly and throws it back in and holds somebody to a single. I've never seen a rocket off the dead center field wall turn into a single, and Ionetta was running hard.
Well, and you got to give a little credit, though, to Matt Kemp. Kemp got back there in a hurry and was able to cut that off and get it back in all in one motion.
And Kemp realized, because it was hit so hard, and again, always being aware who's running, this ball's fouled off, that if he fired it in, he may have a chance on Chris Ionetta going to second.
Well, because as a position player, who's at the plate, what kind of speed they have, what type of runner they are, and he understood that it was Chris, and if he got to it, at least get him back in, make him think about holding up, and he had to.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Fowler. Hey, at Root Sports, we're fortunate enough to have the latest scoop on the Rockies. We try to keep you up to date on your favorite players and happenings within the club. So if you want to learn more, text 720-720. Stay connected to your inside source to the Rockies. And the way you do it, again, it's alerts 720-720. That's held by Barajas, so Fowler is gone. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Seth Smith, who doubled his first time up.
This is more of the overhand curveball that Chad Billingsley throws. And just from the ultra mode, Dexter was able to just foul it enough, but it stayed in Barajas' glove.
First strikeout for Billingsley. And this is where it's no fun for a pitcher. You have Seth Smith at the plate, and there's nowhere, first base is open, but you're not going to pass on him. You have Gonzalez behind him, Tulowitzki after that.
That's why if I'm Seth Smith, I'm just licking my chops, because this is a great opportunity, because I've got Carlos Gonzalez hitting behind me. It's much like when Carlos is up there, he's got Troy hitting behind him.
He's going to get a good pitch to hit. Looked like he held up. No swing. They check it out at third with Rob Drake. It's 2-0. Now you'll sit dead red.
We'll see if the barrel of the bat went right there. No, not even close.
Hitters count for Seth Smith. 2 outs, Ionetta at second. 2-1 Colorado, bottom of 2. 3-0.
If you're Rick Honeycutt or Don Mattingly sitting over in the Dodgers dugout right now, you're saying, okay, 3-0 on the number 2 hole hitter, and you've got Carlos Gonzalez following him. Not where you want to be.
It is a deep lineup. That's in there, 3-1. With Smith's swing, he has the attributes you look for in a 3-hole hitter.
Well, because he's got a combination of ability to hit the ball to all fields, but also the power to go with it. Last year it was just too much pull power.
Yeah, I mean, he had 17 home runs last year and about 360 at bats. He wants to use more of the field this year, but you understand he's a guy that has the ability to hit 25+ home runs.
Yeah, Juan Uribe really hasn't played to the pull side. A lot of room right up the middle. He hit one right by the umpire there.
Oh, on the corner, 3-2.
Well, 3-1. This isn't a pitch you want to try to chase. A ball that's running away from you. Good look from the overhead. Looked like it was off the plate. But the perfect frame from Barajas.
3-2 on Smith. Strike 3. Billingsley freezes Smith on the inside corner. Ionetta left at second after a leadoff single. 2-1 Colorado as we go to the third. Rod Barajas representing the 8th spot. The Dodger lineup will lead things off against Jason Hamill in the third. Time for our AT&T trivia question. Who are the only 2 players in the big leagues to play all 162 games last season? The only hint we'll give you is there was 1 player in the National League, there was 1 player in the American League.
But that's kind of shocking, though. Only 2 players out of all the guys at the major league level.
It used to be, and this guy's not the answer to it, but it used to be, you know, Juan Pierre played every inning of every ball game. Did that for a while. Barajas takes ball 1. James Loney, a home run for the Dodgers for their lone run. Rockies got 2 in the first. Gonzalez doubled in a run. Jose Lopez singled in a run. Hamill hits the strike zone there. It's 1-1.
Oh, Barajas in 37 career games against the Rockies at .333 average.
Last year began the year with the Mets. He was picked up on waivers by the Dodgers and hit just under 300. The rest of the way with LA.
Oh, Russell Martin was hurt last year. Now Russell's with the New York Mets.
With the Yankees.
I mean the Yankees, excuse me.
This ball is hit a ton to left field. This has a chance to get out, and it will. 2-2 ball game. Rod Barajas has always been able to do that. Hit the ball over the wall. And Jason Hamill has given up solo home runs now to James Loney and Rod Barajas. Last year, Barajas, between his 2 clubs, hit 17 home runs. Only Posey and Brian McCann hit more among backstops.
Barajas, you mentioned it, Drew, can certainly do this. Wanted the ball down and away, and it came back inside. And watch how short. Look at this elbow, the way it just drops down into that right back elbow. And that allows it to get the barrel through there. And there was no doubt about that one because that bat traveled through the zone so quickly.
Nice catch out there. Chad Billingsley at the plate, ball 1. Hamill last year gave up 18 home runs in 177 2/3, and needs to regather his focus here. He's fallen behind 2-0.
He started to overthrow the baseball.
And now 3-0. You see it more frequently than you'd like, and that's a starting pitcher falling behind the opposition starting pitcher. Almost as if, again, there's a little bit of a focus lapse. He gets Billingsley on a ground ball to short.
At least he was able to come back and get him out.
Well, you want mid-game tears. Focus on a manager after a pitcher walks a pitcher. There's Trace. He's facing a team he managed here in the Dodgers, and tomorrow he'll face another team he used to manage in the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hey, if your windshield has issues, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. Rafael Furcal thought about shortening up. Ian Stewart is already in on the grass. He'll stay there. Ground ball to Helton to begin the ball game for Furcal.
We've seen Furcal do this where he just kind of runs out there and starts to swing the bat as he's going. He did it last night, and he'll also show it as a bunt first and then kind of pull the bat back and just slash it by the third baseman.
Yeah, Furcal will surprise you. He's not a big guy, but he's got some pop. 2-1. His days in Atlanta, he would hit double figures in home runs, 15, 14. First year in LA, he hit 15. And that misses. 3-1.
You're just starting to see Jason rush out of his delivery a lot right now, though, leaving that arm behind because fastballs, breaking pitches, everything's starting to be up into the zone.
Three and two.
I mean, if you look at the forward strike zone, there's 5 pitches now, 6 pitches that have all been in the same area. All of them up and away. That just tells me that he's rushing his delivery, not staying over that back leg long enough.
And he loses for Call. Now you have to deal with Rafael Furcal's foot speed at first. And he's always been a good stolen base guy, but Huey, more importantly, he's been a high percentage stolen base guy. Last year, 22 of 26.
Well, he's getting smarter in his old age. Might not have the speed that he once had, but now he studies pitchers a little bit more, picks his counts, tries to get signs from maybe the catcher if he doesn't close his right leg enough where you can peek in and see those sorts of things. Pretty good opportunity for him to run, though, if he would like to.
Good hit and run guy up there also in Casey Blake.
Well, and another guy, Casey Blake, that's not afraid to hit with a couple strikes on him, too. So he'll let Rafael Furcal steal it if he wants to and go at it that way.
Dave Hansen's coaching first. Davey Lopes is not with the club. Ordinarily, he'd be coaching first. We chatted about Davey Lopes moving from the Phillies to the Dodgers. Davey, while with the Phillies, they stole 501 bases, the most in baseball over the last 4 years. They also stole at an 84% clip.
And that's, to me, one of those numbers that you look at. You see some teams that have a lot of stolen bases, but it takes them a lot of attempts to get that.
Yeah.
To me, if you're at 75% or above, that's really good.
And conversely, Huey, the last 3 years under Joe Torre, for whatever reason, the Dodgers were caught 146 times, more than any other team in baseball.
And that's shocking in that regard.
This ball toward the gap in right center field. Long run for Fowler. Furcal is going to get a green light at third. He'll score easily. The Dodgers are going to take the lead, and Blake is going to have himself a triple. 3-2 LA here in the third. And Chris Iannetta is going to talk to Jason Hamill.
Another pitch that was just center cut right down the middle, and it wasn't down into the zone, and that allowed Casey Blake to get the extension and drive it into the big right center field gap. I don't see too many times that Casey's going to be able to get a triple, but that the ball in front of him cuts the base, and without a throw on the relay gets in there easy. And now you look at it with one out and Andre Ethier up. You're going to have the Rockies play back, concede the run, try to get the out here.
Ethier hit into a 3-6-3 double play. This is going to be a Blue single, and it's 4-2 LA. And he's thrown about 95% fastballs.
Yeah, because he hasn't been able to get any sort of breaking pitch over. So when you do that, the other team knows this, so they're going up there looking for first pitch fastballs. And even though Ethier didn't hit that ball that hard, he was able to get it because he knew a fastball was coming.
So 3 in here in the third with 1 out. Matt Kemp will be coming up when this meeting breaks up. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies ticket today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. See your Wells Fargo banker today for details. And Tried to break the pattern, went to the slider. Unfortunately, it wasn't in the strike zone. Matt Kemp, a ground ball to Tulowitzki his first time up. He got jammed on a fastball in on his hands. And then he goes back to the slider. 1-1.
I like the call from Chris, so go back-to-back sliders.
And just in case, Franklin Morales, who is the only pitcher for the Rockies in their bullpen who has not gotten out to the hill yet so far. He's getting loose. 1-1. 2-1. In the past with Hamill, we've seen him very good. He had that long scoreless streak last year, more than 25 innings. It would always be one inning that got him, and typically it was in the middle of the game. It was fifth, sixth inning.
Yeah, that second, maybe third time through the rotation or the lineup would end up getting him.
No, that's not even close. He came out of his delivery.
Yeah, exactly. He's really falling off too hard towards the first base side, and so now you become more sideways than over the top and straight through the zone.
And ball 4. Now Kemp walks, pushing Ethier to second. Matt Kemp's not the easiest guy to walk either. Pretty much a free swinger. And James Loney coming up. He homered his last time up. This is Jason Hamill when he was really good last year. First couple of highlights of sliders and then that mid-90s fastball. Struggling here in the third inning today. That was June of last year.
And those 5 starts for Jason Hamill, the ball club was 4-1.
Three walks allowed by Hamill already. Lopez, Tulowitzki shortened up, looking for 2. With Helton playing, way behind naturally, the runner on second, way behind Matt Kemp. Kemp is going to get an enormous jump to second.
And that's the scary thing about that. There's a guy in the middle of the infield thinking that Matt Kemp, big guy as he is, has a chance to really take you out at second base. So the ball's going to have to be hit hard off the bat at James Loney and then get a quick release out at second, because Kemp will have a chance to dump you.
And that's down 2-1. So Hamill really waited. James Loney in the second inning with the Rockies up 2-0. Hit one just over the auxiliary scoreboard in right on a slider. Hamill's gotten some ground balls in this game. He's gotten 6 of them. He needs one right here. And he's going to get one. Nice play by Tulowitzki, showing range. He turns a 6-3 double play. In the inning, 3 runs for the Dodgers. They now have a 4-2 lead. Dodgers as they come to bat in the bottom of the third. Cargo, Tulowitzki, and Helton against Chad Billingsley. Rockies have had good swings at Chad Billingsley. 3 hits in the first. 420-foot single by Chris Ionette off the center field wall last inning. Gonzalez out in front, and it's 0-1.
One thing you don't want if you're the Rockies is a quick inning this inning. You got to try to get a little bit of momentum back on your side.
Well, they're in the right part of the order.
Yep. Try to get at least 1 run back.
Cutter in. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the news of the day, Ubaldo Jimenez, and not a big surprise, placed on the 15-day disabled list. They want to get that thumb completely healed, so he is available to come off the DL on April 17th.
It was a prudent thing to do. You know, Ubaldo talked about it. He said nobody likes to go on the DL, but he understands just what's best for him and what's best for the team.
2-1 on Cargo. Greg Reynolds will take his place in the rotation on Saturday in Pittsburgh. Jim Tracy earlier on Ubaldo's situation.
By backing up here and not sending him to that mound in high intensity, high stress type of environment, we're able to control the situation here pretty well. And we've got a real good chance to grab a complete handle on this and be done with it.
Outside 3-2. Ubaldo told us earlier that there was only 2 starts in the spring, his first 2, where he felt really good. Now the arm feels great. He said it feels perfect, to quote him. But he was dealing with pain on the thumb every time he put pressure on it. And that's why the velocity was down, a little bit down late in spring, and obviously down in the open. Ball 4. That made Gary Darling flinch a little bit. Good eye by Gonzalez. And I'm telling you, a year ago at this point in time, I don't know what the result of the swing would have been, but he would have fired at both the 2-2 pitch and the 3-2 pitch.
Just maturing on Carlos's part. And he understands that. Let's take a look at the rotation now with Ubaldo out. What's going to happen? We got Rogers in his spot. Originally, Jorge De La Rosa was supposed to pitch on Saturday with Ubaldo taking the start on Friday, but they flip-flopped that yesterday, trying to give Ubaldo the extra day. Well, they realized that's not going to happen, so they slide Greg Reynolds in there, and then everybody else follows suit after that.
Tulowitzki fired at the first pitch his first time up and hit a towering pop to short, 1-0.
And the other thing with Greg Reynolds, too, is some people thinking, well, why wasn't it John Maine? Well, John Maine's not quite stretched out far enough. He's also not on the 40-man roster. So you have that. Greg was also in line for that 5th starter spot that Ismael Rogers beat him out of, and he was due to go tomorrow in the Springs.
This ball sliced foul. We were talking about how close that 3-2 pitch was, and maybe a year ago Gonzalez swings at it. Here's his thoughts with Glenn Allen Hill as soon as he arrived at first base.
I was too close to take. Pretty good.
Yeah, but when you win a batting title, you get those pitches.
Yeah,
they're called balls.
You could tell Gary Darling flinched for a second.
And he realized he was hitting.
They never worry about that, do
No. Always seems like the good hitters get those calls. The guys that hit 230, they were strikeouts.
That's a good pitch. He buckled Tulowitzki's knees a little bit, 1-2.
Carlos might have a good opportunity to run here if he would like, or at least anticipate a ball in the dirt. There's 1 stolen base on the season already.
Got an off-speed count. 1-2. Nobody out. Billingsley will check on him.
And Don Mattingly is the one that makes the decisions as far as what the pitcher's going to do. If he's going to throw over, if they're going to hold, slide step, what is it going to be?
Not going. It's in 2-2. He got his first hit of the year last night, a bomb to left. Get the Rockies going against Kershaw. Held up. 3-2.
Well, now Carlos will be running. You mentioned Troy's home run last night. There was really not a whole lot of doubt when he hit this ball up right on top of it, aimed it out to left center field about 425 feet. The 5th 3-ball count for Billingsley today.
Bottom of 3, Rockies trailing 4-2. They got off to a quick start. 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning. There goes Gonzalez, and it's roped in the hole for a base hit. Cargo will turn and go to third. Paul makes the smart move and throws it behind the lead runner and keeps the double play in order. First and third, nobody out, and Todd Helton coming up.
It's nice to see Troy getting that stroke back. This time with the fastball in and down a little bit, he just turns on it. That front foot gets locked in, and the hips rotate and gets drive right through it. And it's easy read for Carlos Gonzalez because he was running with the pitch anyway.
And what a good feeling at the plate, Huey, it must be to be able to eliminate pitches. 3-2, you already got a runner on. There's nobody out. He's pretty much got to figure he's going to get something straight.
Well, I look back to the 3-2 pitch that he threw to Carlos was a fastball. 3-2 pitch the previous inning to Seth Smith was a fastball. So those things factor into your mind as a hitter. And that's what Troy said. I'm going to eliminate the off-speed pitch, and he jumped on the fastball.
Todd walked his first time up. 1-0 count. The infield defense up the middle, Huey, and I want you to explain this a little bit inverted for me. On the pull side, Uribe is much shorter than on the opposite side. The longer throw for Col, they're looking for 2, is far deeper. I mean, he's almost playing halfway, Uribe.
Yeah, and Uribe, because he's over there, to me, he's a little bit too far over to first base, but that just tells me the way they're going to play or pitch to Todd a little bit. You want to come in 2 steps and over 2 steps is always my theory as far as going closer towards the bag if you're Uribe. But for Col's playing pretty deep, but he does that because he has a stronger arm.
First and third, nobody out. Here's the 2-0. And it catches the corner. If your windshield is damaged in any way, call our friends at Safelite Autoglass at 303-287-5000 or check them out at safelite.com. Three and 1. Lopez is on deck. Billingsley has been basically a 50-50 proposition in this game, balls and strikes. 60 pitches in. He's got 31 in the zone, 29 out of the zone.
If they might pull the old third to first move just to see if Troy would be running on this pitch.
He's not going, and this ball is hit high in the air to right field. Did Helton get enough of it? Yep. 3-run jack. Not by much, but who cares? And the Rockies have retaken the lead on the first home run of the season from Helton. Home run number 334 in the great career of Todd Helton.
Just wondered if it was going to be able to get on top of that auxiliary scoreboard or if it was going to hit high off it. Todd knew that he got it pretty well, but it was hit so high in the air. Looks like the ball James Loney hit earlier in this ball game. Hits off the top and a 3-run bomb.
Jose Lopez still with nobody out, takes strike one.
Well, 3-1 count. Todd cheated a little bit, and cheating, I mean, start your swing a little bit sooner because you feel like I'm going to look for a ball in or third and try to drive it.
Well, going back to what we talked about with Gonzalez on the 3-2 pitch, Tulowitzki 3-2. There's traffic out there. It's 3-1. He can't afford to throw one of his secondary pitches.
Well, especially with Jose Lopez coming up behind him, who's already driven in a run in today's ball game. Did it last night, so you know you've got some dangerous parts working.
This ball chopped deep in the hole, knocked down by Blake. He won't have a play. Well, he and Furcal played together last year when Furcal was healthy, but they didn't get a lot of reps together this spring because Blake had the back injury.
And that was just straight up air, and you're thinking, well, should he have let it go on to let Furcal get it? But the third baseman gets it whenever he can. That's a ball that just dropped out of his glove. We've seen Casey Blake make that play before.
And honestly, that's a relatively easy play, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah, you just go to your left, and if you feel like you have to spin, you spin. If not, you turn around and just make the strong throw to first.
Conference at the mound. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Who are the only two players in the big leagues last year to play in all 162 games? One in the National League, one in the American League. Well, Matt Kemp played in all 162 last year, and Ichiro. Not a surprise. Kemp actually has the longest consecutive games played streak going in Major League Baseball at 211. And if he doesn't come out, Doug's done a little math. Took Doug 3 days to come up with this, but after borrowing Sam Niasen, our high home camera's fingers and toes, he said that with 7 games to go in the 2025 season that Matt Kemp will pass your close friend and former teammate Cal Ripken.
21. You have to go 21. Well, 21-31 beat Lou Gehrig. It's 26 and some change now. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I think that one's going to be safe for Matt Kemp. Just saying.
You're so biased.
I am a little biased towards Cal.
0-1 on Ian Stewart. Looking for his first knock of the 2011 season. He's got 6 at bats. And Lopez diving back in. Jose's not a base stealer. And really wasn't when he came up with Seattle.
And typically middle infield guys have a little bit more speed. He just doesn't have that. Doesn't mean he's not a bad base runner. Just doesn't mean he doesn't have that blazing speed.
Swung on and missed. Stewart a little tardy with the swing on the 91-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 0-2. Tell you what Lopez is. You know, we're all getting to know him. And we did some of his games when he's in Seattle during interleague play. Very productive offensive player. He's a little bigger and stronger than I remembered him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that we talk about sometimes. As the closer you get, the bigger he looks. But I just think he's a fine piece to this puzzle because he doesn't have to be the main cog in it. And that's the problem that he had in Seattle last year. They were really asking him to do more than what he was capable of doing. Hitting in the number 4 spot. And now he can really sit back, and whether it's in the 5th spot or the 6th spot like today, or he can go up there and have a lot of RBI opportunities.
He did drive in a lot of runs in Seattle. This ball is hit in the air to left field. Xavier Paul will have it. That's the first out. It'll bring up Chris Iannetta, who's red hot. take a look at our Geico quote of the day from Tommy Lasorda. Statistics can be misleading. When Drysdale or Gibson pitched, for example, the other team never scored any runs. But when I pitched, they always scored runs. So what was misleading about that?
I'm not sure, because Gibson and Drysdale were pretty good pitchers.
Yeah. That'll back out. Billingsley has been very deliberate. He's had 2 long innings, 27 pitch first inning. And obviously this third inning, he's been out there for French toast, and now he's moving toward lunch.
Well, it's more of a brunch now.
Yeah.
This next pitch will be his 69th. The Dodgers do have an off day tomorrow, so that will help them if they have to go to their bullpen early. The Rockies, conversely, do not have another off day until the 21st of April.
Here's what Chris Iannetta did his first time up.
Get over his head. Come on. Yeah, get the second. Come on. Oh.
That's the first one I've ever seen, Huey. A 420-foot single.
Never seen it before myself.
Down low, 1-1. That was pitch number 70. And we're in the third inning for Chad Billingsley. On a day where the temperature is 47 degrees. 5-4 Colorado on Helton's 3-run home run, his 334th Major League jack. Lopez at first with 1 out. That was a great example, Huey, wasn't it, of how short his swing has become.
Yeah, not a long one where he gets out and around the ball. That time he tried to stay right up the middle, and he fouled it back off to the right a little bit because it was a shorter, more compact swing at the baseball.
Two and two. Iannetta last year 2 for 17 against Dodger pitching. Already this year he's 2 for 4. Billingsley doing his best Steve Traxel right now. 3 and 2.
See how Jim Tracy plays this. Is he going to put the runner in motion just in case there's a strikeout throwout? You have the pitcher leading off next inning. I think he's going to gamble. I think he's going to go ahead and send him.
See, I would. Let's see what he does. Beauty of baseball. Differing opinions. Lopez does take off, and it's ball 4. And, you know, maybe, just going back to that thought, the way Iannetta's squaring up the baseball, you go ahead and figure, okay, you know what, maybe not going to hit it on the ground and ground into a potential double play.
Well, and the other thing, too, Drew, is more than likely he's going to get a fastball to
Or
hit.
he's going to make contact, I should say. Yeah,
he's going to make contact, but he's going to get a fastball to make contact with because he's not been able to throw the breaking pitches over for strikes. I mean, just in this inning alone, on the 6 batters that Billingsley's faced, 4 times he's gone to the 3-ball count.
Hamill had a successful sacrifice last inning. And that's in there.
Well, last time he bunted towards the first base side, but with runners at first and second now, you want to try to drop it down more along the third base line. So you take the barrel of your bat and really point it towards first base to create that angle to get it towards third base.
Saw Blake Hawksworth yesterday. Rockies up 5-4. 3-run home run earlier this inning from Todd Helton. And it was taken off, and only one play as the runners were moving. They took the bunt off, they put the runners in motion, an aggressive play by Jim Tracy, and it pays off.
We've seen two aggressive back-to-back plays now, with stealing Lopez and now the swing by Hamilton.
Well, a reminder to catch Rockies All Access. Carlos Gonzalez is off to a terrific start. Troy Tulowitzki, big hit in this ball game, a home run last night. If you want to find out about the Rockies, the place to go is Rockies All Access, Thursday at 6:30. Inside on Dexter Fowler. That misses, 2-0.
Dexter reaches. I think this might be Billingsley's last hitter.
Two and one. That's a pitch that is always, whether it's that was a cutter, but that slider down and in is a pitch that gives a lot of hitters fits, but particularly Dexter Fowler.
He starts to open a little bit, tries to get close, but it's still, with the long arms and the long body, can't get back to it.
And a broken bat, foul ball, so it's 2-2. Here's something interesting that I wanted to point out, and I wanted hopefully you to be able to explain this. Last year in day ball games, this is a day ball game.
Okay.
Dexter hit 327. Last year at night, he hit 225. And every once in a while, you'll see players with that huge disparity. And the lighting in big league stadiums is ideal. Why is that? Did you feel better in the afternoon? Did you have a preference?
I like playing during the day, but I like getting up, playing the game during the day. Kind of brings you back to your youth.
102-point difference.
That's shocking, and I don't have an answer for it. I mean, some guys just like it better, I guess.
2-2. And again, Billingsley trying to work that cutter right underneath the hands of Fowler.
Yeah, and what Dexter has to realize right now is that they're probably not going to go away from him, meaning they're not going to throw it away on the outside part of the plate. So go ahead and start looking in.
Open a little early.
Open a little bit earlier. Just set your sights in.
It's too far in. 3-2. Smith's on deck. Second and third.
Same thing, and it's going to be a fastball or something maybe that cuts into your hands. But try to get the barrel out in front.
And that pitch is wasted. Billingsley hasn't seen the Dodger dugout since the Carter administration. I mean, they've been out there forever.
I mean, 40 pitches, just unbelievable. He's due up fourth next inning. This is going to be it one way or the other. If he gets out of the inning, I think he'll be done. If Dexter gets on, I think he'll be done.
Hopefully it's the latter. Another 3-2 and another foul ball. Don Mattingly, first tour as a big league manager. He got to work in the Arizona Fall League last year. That's his first taste of managing.
One of the few guys that's in the big leagues right now that has not managed in the minor leagues.
A.J. Hinch was another with Arizona. He's no longer employed as a manager. Swung on and missed. So Billingsley wins that battle, but he loses the inning as Todd Helton hits a 3-run home run off Billingsley to give the Rockies the lead again. It's 5-4 Colorado as we move on to the fourth. For Todd Helton, a 3-run home run. That's the difference in the ball game right now. Let's check in with the Lana Rizzo with today's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold in cash and on the spot. And on the spot is Alana Rizzo.
All right, guys, thanks very much. I loved the Rockies' extended inning in the third, getting some runs on the board. Nicely done, Todd Helton. But I was cold, so I borrowed Elise and Gail Smith's blanket out here in center field. They were kind enough to let me share. Have an opportunity to talk to you about Evansville, Indiana. Why, you say? Well, there are 22 players that have played in the major leagues from Evansville, Indiana, 2 of which are in the Coors Field today. That would be Dodger skipper Don Mattingly, as well as former Rocky, current Dodger Jamie Carroll. Now, there's 2 other active players that hail from Evansville, Scott Rowland of the Cincinnati Reds, and backup catcher for the Minnesota Twins, Drew Butera. So Evansville, Indiana, a hotbed of Major League Baseball players, Drew Goodman and Jeff Houston. I can tell you, though, center field, not a hotbed. Chilly out here. Elise, shouldn't you be in school, by the way?
Yes, but my mom said she was going to take me lunch. And then I ended up going home to come here.
Yeah, that's a good mom. Well, stay warm, and I appreciate you letting me use your blanket. Thank you. All right, guys, back to you with a nice warm booth.
All right, this ball's well hit right center field. Smith going back, and he makes a running catch. That was well hit by Wanaribe. Nice grab by Seth Smith out there in right center field.
Wanaribe right now is saying, what do I have to do to get a base hit? Troy Tulowitzki stole one from him back in the second inning, and now here in the fourth inning, Seth Smith with the grab going towards the wall. Now, this is 2 plays that I could think of in the last 3 games that Seth Smith has shown good range, and timing of that was just impeccable, because right at the last second he threw his glove up there and reached for it.
Xavier Paul at the plate. Back and forth between Albuquerque and Los Angeles last year. Not a big guy, but you can tell he's pretty stout. He's got some pop. With 12 home runs in less than a half season worth of at-bats in AAA last year in the Pacific Coast League.
Well, you and I were both talking to Jeff Pentland before the ball game today, and he was just raving about Xavier Paul and his upside.
I like the comparison he made.
Yeah, Andres Torres for the Giants.
Now, for Xavier Paul and for the Dodgers' sake, if he becomes Andres Torres, they've done well, and he's done well.
Well, yeah, and it took Andres Torres a little bit of time, though, to develop, and that's what they're thinking maybe it might be for Xavier Paul. But if he does turn out to be that sort of guy where he could move towards the top of the lineup, that would really help them out a lot.
And an 0-2 base hit. That's too good a pitch, 0-2. And Fowler knocks it down. Paul can run. He's going to move up on the slight bobble. We'll see how they score that. I mean, it's not like he had trouble. And he got to it. He knocked it down. So they're going to get, now they've said they're going to give him a single and an error. First error of the season on the center fielder. Our Quest high speed pitch. Chad Billingsley at 93. Jason Hamill at 94. Brought to you by the fast, reliable, secure, heavy duty internet from Quest. You want a quick and quiet inning if you're Jason Hamill after last inning, giving up 3 runs, and then the Rockies getting 3 runs. Get him right back to the dugout.
Well, it kind of goes back to the point I made at the bottom half of the last inning that the Rockies needed to at least prolong that inning a little bit. Well, they did that. They got the 3 runs. But now it's Jason's turn. The offense bailed you out. Go back out there and put your foot down and don't let him score a run and tie this ball game back up.
Dodgers are carrying 3 catches. That swung on and missed. 0-2 on Barajas. And that is one of their backup catchers that they're carrying, Hector Jimenez. They also have A.J. Ellis.
Very rarely do you see teams carry 3 catchers anymore, because a lot of that used to be, it wasn't that uncommon, but you'd only go with 10 or 11 guys out for your pitching staff. Now everybody almost carries 12 pitchers.
0-2 on Barajas, and this is an easy play for Tulowitzki. So that's a much better diagnose that 0-2 pitch versus the previous 0-2 pitch.
Location, location, location. I mean, that's pretty much the difference between those. A too good of a pitch to Xavier Paul, but then was able to get it down and away from the ultimo. Watch where that ball dips to, and it got Rod Barajas off balance and out in front.
Well, they had Jimenez on deck, but it'll be the former Rocky Aaron Miles pinch hitting. Remember talking to Aaron a couple years ago. Remember Huey? He was in Chicago, and after 9 years in the minor leagues, and stuck with the Rockies for a long time, then good years with Tony La Russa and the Cardinals. He got a 2-year deal from the Cubs. He rolls to Helton, and Hamill works out of the situation with Paul at second base. Rockies 5 and the Dodgers 4. We'll see the Dodger pen when we come back. Todd Helton, a 3-run home run, the difference in the ball game right now. Hey, all season long, join in for Toyota Talk. Text your comments live during the 6th inning today and also throughout the post-game show. And here's how you do it. Text Toyota followed by a space and then your comment to 720-720. What we're asking you today is through the first few days of this season, what has impressed you the most? What are your thoughts, if you will, on the opening days of the season with the Colorado Rockies after seeing a first glance? So think about that and do as this young lady's doing. Text us 720-720. And of course the operative word is Toyota. Toyota Talk. And throughout the postgame show with Tom Helmer, you can do that as well afterward. We'll check some of your text in the top of the 6th inning. Blake Hawksworth, who worked a scoreless inning yesterday, is aboard. He'll face Seth Smith, Carlos Gonzalez, and Troy Tulowitzki. Hard throwing right-hander. And the pitch is up, ball 1.
Part of Tony La Russa's staff last year. Came over this winter in a trade with the Cardinals.
Fouled off with the injury. The torn ligament, the Tommy John surgery that Adam Wainwright has undergone. I'm sure he'd love to have Blake Hawksworth back with the Cardinals.
Well, the Cardinals, to me, went from that one of the leaders of that Central to,
we'll see.
Yeah, kind of a big question mark.
Good news, Matt Holliday says he's going to be back over the weekend after having the appendectomy the other day.
Speaking of that, did you see Adam Dunn had an appendectomy?
Emergency one last night. And then afterward, they said, oh, he'll be out about 5 days. Well, I mean,
wait a second. So now you go have an appendectomy, be back in a week.
Was Ozzie in the in the operating room? Said he'll be back in a couple of minutes. Inside on Smith, 2-2. Smith a double in the first inning, scored on a double by Cargo. Rockies got off to a 2-0 start. And Dodgers got a run on a home run from Maloney in the second. They got 3 in the third, including a Rod Barajas home run. The Rockies countered with 3 in the bottom of the third. The Helton 3-run home run to right. That missed badly. That slipped out of his hand. 3-2.
Not a real good changeup.
What didn't you like about it?
Well, the speed, the location.
And you done?
I'm done for now. But if I'm Seth Smith, I like it a lot because I'm at 3-2. They struck me out with the fastball, inner third last time up. That's what I'm looking for right now.
A lot of deep counts from Billingsley and now Hawksworth here in his first at bat. First batting. This is popped to shallow right center field. Kemp will come on and make the catch, 1 out. Chad Billingsley goes 3 innings. He allows 5 runs, all of them earned on 6 hits. He walked 3 and he struck out 3. Cargo a double and a run scored in the first, and he walked on a 3-2 pitch in the third, came around on the Helton home run.
Yeah, Hawksworth faced Carlos last night, walked him.
National League batting champion from last year, Carlos Gonzalez. And he was out front on the changeup, 0-1. One thing that is irrefutable about the National League West is that this is a division that has great pitching and typically has very good bullpens in addition to the terrific starting pitching. And last year, Carlos Gonzalez hit .336 against the National League West.
Well, just look what the Giants did to the Rangers and the way they shut down their offense in the World Series. A lot of people didn't think that would happen.
That's fouled off 1 and 2. Hey, a reminder coming up after this half inning. We'll visit, as we typically do on Wednesdays, with the Rockies skipper Jim Tracy. Get his mid-game thoughts. One, two, and that's going to be a base hit to left center field. He has such great plate coverage, doesn't he, Jeff?
And that's what allows him to hit the ball off the end of the bat and dump it into left center field. They come inside, he'll turn on it. If it's away and he gets the barrel to it, he'll drive it that way. Just a turnover changeup from Hawksworth, and just off the end of the bat from the Exmo, you can see the way the bat splintered just a little bit. But just the strength and the extension for Carlos to hit it out in front of Xavier Paul.
So now Tulowitzki, a sharp single in the 3rd inning on a 3-2 pitch.
Slide step. We're just going to hold it.
This is the hold.
Yep.
Troy was talking about kind of learning now with Cargo hitting. It goes back to last year, hitting in front of him, when to give him opportunities to run.
And this might be one of those opportunities to give him if he wants to take off. But the other thing is, Troy's so good at jumping on that first pitch fastball, though. Very high average when he swings at it.
Well, you'll take hits any way you can. That hit from Carlos Gonzalez was off the end of the bat. On a cold day, that'll really sting.
Ouch. Ouch.
But you'd rather be saying ouch with a base hit than a weak pop-up.
Then you're really saying ouch.
Yeah. This shot from the Ultimo right off the very end, and it just vibrates and goes all the way down into your palms and your fingertips.
0-1 on Tulowitzki. Gonzalez with 1 out at first base.
Hawksworth has really varied his times on these first 2 pitches. The first one was 1.15. That last one was 1.47 to the plate.
Yeah, he's a lot more deliberate, a little higher leg kick on that second delivery.
And that second pitch also was a breaking pitch. Pretty good lead from Carlos over at first base.
And it's fouled straight back. Send him here?
Yeah. I would. 1-2 count. Good opportunity for him to run. You can always shut it down, and you can take 2 or 3 steps, and if you feel like you didn't get the jump or you think it's a fastball, you can stop and just use it as a secondary lead.
Of the great base stealers you saw, who got the biggest lead and who conversely didn't need that big a lead?
Ricky Henderson was the guy that really didn't need that big a lead because he was 0 to 60 in about 1 step. Tim Raines got a pretty big lead.
Cargo takes off, and this ball drilled deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. 2-run jack from Tulowitzki. And the Rockies extend their lead.
I think
Boy, that's a vision you waited all winter to see. The hug at home plate between Tulowitzki and Gonzalez.
Yeah, and the second home run now in 2 days for Troy. I think a lot of the attention was diverted over to first base because of Carlos Gonzalez and the slider. Troy were able to get out in front of it. There was no doubt about this one when he hit it out. You come to the ball game today, you're hoping I brought my glove. What am I going to do?
Whoa,
that was real close. So he caught the ball.
And fortunately, he didn't do the facial into the railing. Helton hits this one to center field and deep. Kemp going back, still going back, and he'll make the catch a step in front of the wall. So Helton bidding for a 2-home run day.
It's a sound in the sight I can get used to.
Absolutely. And if you're wondering what he said sick, which that was started a couple of years ago by Ian Stewart. Anytime somebody did something that looked really good, Stewart would say sick, and they made T-shirts up. And
it's a good sick.
It's a good sick, and it's one of the. It's an adjective you hear frequently with the Rockies hanging around the batting cage. Lopez takes outside, 2-0. 2-0, and we have tacos for the first time this year. Don't forget, go to Taco Bell tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. With the Rockies ahead 7-4. That's in 3-0.
Different pace in today's ball game than yesterday's.
2:19, and the ball game was done yesterday. It's like a Dodger Stadium special. Not today.
Well, sometimes you gotta pitch and hit a little bit. Other times you just gotta slug and then just go out there and throw a lot of runs up.
And Lopez drives this to center field, and Kemp is right there. In the inning, the Rockies come up with a pair of runs. Troy Tulowitzki and Carlos Gonzalez in the middle of things. Second home run of the season for Tulowitzki, 7-4 Rockies. Quickly, we go down to the Rockies dugout. Jim Tracy good enough to join us. Trace, up and down your lineup, you're getting quality at bat after quality at bat here in the early going, aren't you?
We really are, Drew. I think, the thing that had been missing the first couple ball games that's beginning to show up today is obviously our shortstop is starting to settle in and do his thing, and the guy in front of him in Gonzalez creates a lot of opportunity for us, and it's really good to see Todd Helton swinging the bat the way he is.
Absolutely. Trace, go finish this one off.
All right, Drew, thanks.
You betcha. Jim Tracy downstairs. Rockies in the 5th inning with a 3-run lead. It's the top of the order for the Dodgers. Jason Hamill will face Rafael Furcal, Casey Blake, and Andre Ethier. And the first pitch of the inning is in there for a strike. One ball, one strike. Furcal walked and scored in the 3rd inning. Grounded to first his first time up, and that was a foul ball, so it's 1-2. I believe it was a foul ball.
Yeah, it was. A little bit of a check swing, went right down at home plate.
Boy, that's a good looking pitch. You want to talk about an emergency hack that it didn't get anything. That was for Furcal. He was badly fooled.
What's the difference of being 2-1 in the count or 1-2? It's the first strikeout today for Jason Hamill. 12-6 breaking pitch, was up a little bit, but no chance by Furcal.
Not one of his better swings. A slider for a strike on Casey Blake. Blake off the disabled list with a walk and a run-scoring triple. And another base hit. Casey Blake was telling everybody who would listen that he was raring to go, ready to come off the disabled list, and he got his wish, and I guess he knows his body well.
Well, you've played long enough. You're 36, 37 years old. You're going to understand what you need to do to perform at the major league level. I think a lot of people were wondering, well, would it be more prudent to wait until Friday and bring him off then with the day off tomorrow? He said, why? I'm ready to go. Let me play.
And also there was thought that he'd be in warm weather in San Diego on Friday, as opposed to today. The weather forecast was not quite as nice as it will be in San Diego, you would assume, on Friday.
Well, and the other thing too, they wanted Ivan Jesus Jr. to go down and start to play and get some at bats, and the minor league season opens up tomorrow.
1 strike count on Ethier, 1 for 2 outside. Play Ethier to pull the ball on the ground. Lopez is swung over in the hole. In fact, if Ethier did hit a ground ball to the left side, Lopez would have a long way to go.
No, I think Troy would take it. If it somehow was hit to Ian Stewart, that Troy would take the feed from Ian, and that's something you talk about. And as a third baseman, how far Lopez is over, that there's no way he could even get to the bag. So right now they've already said, okay, if it's hit to you, just give me a half a beat to get there, though. And the other good thing about it is with Casey Blake, doesn't have a whole lot of speed, so you don't have to worry about him being right on top of you if you went to turn it.
Hamill working ahead of Ethier, 1 and 2.
Where they're trying to pitch him is down low and away.
And that's going to get away from Iannetta, and Blake will move up. 3 and 2 on the wild pitch by Hamill.
Well, nothing Chris could do on that one. Spun so far out in front in the over rotation on the ball. Chris tried to slide over and see how it kicks back to the right just a little bit. He went to block it. When it got away from him, Casey Blake, no hesitation, trots into second base.
Iannetta will go out, spend some time with Hamill.
Well, they're talking right now. What do you feel comfortable throwing? Do you feel like that changeup away? You want to go with a backdoor curveball or maybe a hard fastball? You tell me what you feel most comfortable throwing in this situation with Ethier up.
At first and second with 1 out. Matt Kemp coming up.
They book a suite or party facility in April or May and receive up to 20 free tickets to another Rockies game. Call 303-312-2444. Make sure you call now because space is limited.
This is another one of those moments in a baseball game. You have Kemp up there representing the tying run. 7-4 Colorado, 1 out. Hamill has been largely inconsistent this afternoon. He's walked 4.
And I think back to that third inning when they started to score some runs. He already scored 3, but then he was able to get the double play off the bat of James Loney. Now would be a perfect opportunity to get one from Matt Kemp. In yesterday's ball game, the Dodgers hit 16 ground ball outs. Today they already have 10.
And it's 0-2 on Kemp.
Franklin Morales is back up throwing again for the Rockies. Second time he's been up in the ballgame was up back in the 3rd inning.
The way that Jason has kind of struggled today, even if he gets through this, you may see Jim Tracy go to the pen in the 6th inning.
For sure, because it's not been an easy game for Jason. It's not been an easy 5 innings. He's had to struggle and scrape to get by. I mean, there was a double play in the 1st inning that helped him get out of it.
Yeah, he's had base runners in every inning. Ahead of Kemp, 0-2.
Chris is starting to get his money's worth back there, having to try to block balls. I would throw it one more time. I would not tempt fate and try to sneak a fastball by Matt Kemp. You do make sure it's up and out of the zone.
Kemp struck out 170 times last year. Two and 2.
Show me fastball inside to try to get him back off the plate a little bit. Now the pattern typically is to go away something soft with a curveball or slider.
And now he's run it full. I know Jim Tracy obviously wants to see Hamill get through this. That goes without saying. But the other caution flag in his mind is the guy he's got warming up is not, as we all know, a consistent strike thrower. So you want to, if you bring a Morales into the game, you'd prefer to bring him in with the bases clean.
That's right. And even though the next hitter is left-handed and James Loney, you would have left on left, but you want to try to get through this inning. The other thing is you want to try to get Jason his win.
Here's the 3-2. Ground ball, foul. Hard throwing Kenley Jansen is tossing in the Dodger bullpen. And you're right. You look up there and you see 78 pitches, but most of them have been pretty stressful.
I can only remember probably a handful, maybe 10 pitches all game long that weren't stressful for Jason.
And remember, it was a 6-pitch first inning that included a 4-pitch walk to Blake.
And double plays. Also had some nice defensive plays behind him. One by Tulo, the other by Seth Smith in right center.
And he strikes out Kemp on a slider going away. 2 outs, and that'll bring up James Loney.
Well, he finally was able to throw that slider in a spot right off the plate, but tantalizing enough that Matt Kemp thought he might be able to reach it.
It may have been the best executed pitch of Hamel's afternoon.
Well, he didn't overthrow it. He just threw the baseball. The ones that he's been overthrowing is the one he's been burying down into the dirt. He made the pitch when he needed to. Third inning is when they scored the 3 runs, and now 20 pitches here.
Got to keep your focus.
Well, you do.
James Loney's a good hitter.
Yeah, but talk about the stress for Jason Hamel. He's only had 5 at-bats today without any runners on base.
Blake at second, Ethier at first, 2 outs, and this is top fair to Helton, and Hamel works out of it. 7-4 Colorado, middle of 5 at 20th and Blake.
Have a 7-4 lead over the Los Angeles Dodgers, and at Root Sports we're all about the fan, and I'm very happy to introduce you to a very special guest up here in the rock pile. This is Ken Niles. It is his 87th birthday today, you guys. He's a longtime Rockies fan from unincorporated Golden, a World War II veteran, a Korean War veteran, wanted to spend his birthday with the Rockies, and he also wanted to give a shout out to one of his other favorite baseball teams. Who do you want to say hello to, Ken?
Oh, the golden oldies, the 70s and over. We've been playing together for years.
70 plus, and the young guys on the softball field, thank you so much for spending your birthday with us, and thank you for your service to our country. Happy 87th birthday, Ken.
Oh, thank you so much, Lana.
I know you guys want to say happy birthday to Ken, too, up in the booth. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Ken. He served our nation in World War II, as Alana mentioned, also in Korea. I know he's in the Pacific Theater, I believe, during World War II, a Marine. Our hats are off to you.
Yes.
87 more birthdays
Thank
to
you.
you, sir. 1-1 the count, and it's fouled off by Stewart. 1-2. Jason Hamel on the plus side. That's up 2-2.
Well, Ryan Spilborghs does have a bat, and he's on the top step of the dugout. Which leads me to believe with Jason's spot coming up and 2 batters that Jason's done for today.
And that is strike 3 on Ian Stewart. Kenley Jansen, the new pitcher for the Dodgers. It was a fascinating story. He's from Curacao. Good pitcher out of Curacao by the name of Jair Jurgens for the Atlanta Braves. But what is probably most interesting about Jansen is that he's a converted catcher. Now you see that, you know, quite a bit. The
Carlos Marmol.
Carlos Marmol. The Cubs just put another guy on the disabled list today who's
Randy Wells,
who's a converted catcher. That's a ball. But usually it's a process, and they converted 5 or 6 years ago in the minor leagues. In 2009, for the Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic, their starting catcher was Kenley Jansen. So, I mean, he's a recent convert, and here he is in the big leagues.
Well, it helps when you're able to throw 95, 97 miles an hour and have a little bit of composure to go along with it. But you're right. To get a feel for pitching a lot of times, it's 2, maybe 3 years before they would trust you to pitch in the big league level.
Well, last year in 25 games, he had an ERA of 0.67 with the Dodgers. He gave up 2 runs in 27 innings. His ERA was the 4th lowest by a rookie with a minimum of 25 innings in Major League history.
The other thing, too, batters hit below 100 against him with runners in scoring position, 0.71.
So who messed up? I mean, why'd they have him behind the plate so long, right? Boy, trying to stop his swing and almost get out of the way of the baseball. Iannetta almost went around. 3-2 on Chris. A single off the center field wall. That's right, a single. He hit it so hard off the center field wall, and then a walk his next time up. And it swung on and missed. 2 strikeouts for Jansen, and that'll bring up Spilborghs, who will hit for Jason Hamill. A reminder coming up in the next half inning, top of the 6th. It is Toyota Talk. Text Toyota followed by a space, and then tell us your thoughts about the beginning of the season. What your early impressions are of the 2011 Rockies. 720-720 is the rest of the equation. Spilborghs fouls off the first fastball. Two-strike count.
Second pitch hit appearance for Ryan Spilborghs this year.
And this ball driven to center field. It'll drop for a single. And that's the first hit of 2011 for Spilborghs.
Nice to see for a couple different reasons. He had a rough night in last night's ball game, going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Come in today, you get the pinch hit, jam shot. Well, you'll take it any way you can get it. Drops out there for a pinch hit single for Ryan.
Last year, Spilborghs hit 371 in the pinch. So he's at first with 2 outs. Dexter Fowler 0 for 3. Good idea. Dexter glanced with 2 outs. He saw Casey Blake, Huey, about 2 or 3 strides behind the bag at third.
Why not?
His was a reaction from Carlos Gonzalez and Todd Helton in the dugout after Spilborghs threw out the base hit.
Actor here from third base. ¡Vamos, cacahuates! Yeah! Yes!
There goes Spilborghs, and like Spilborghs took a peek back, hit and run.
Probably just wanted to see where the ball was going. Once you hear that sound, you just try to pick it up.
And a bouncing ball to second. Jansen gets a couple of punch outs in the 5th inning. We move to the 6th inning. Toyota talk is on deck. Rockies leading 7-4. Jason Hamill's afternoon is complete. All on Root Sports is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. By your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward. By Jack in the Box right now. Get the All-American Jack combo for only $4.99 plus tax. And by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. Here's the debut of Franklin Morales this year. It's his 4th straight season on the Rockies opening day roster and has yet to be utilized. Franklin had a solid spring and 10 innings of work. The thing that jumps out at you, he walked only 2.
Yeah, and that's been Franklin's downfall at times here at the big league level, falling behind hitters, walking them, creating too much traffic out there. And that's one thing he worked hard on this spring, and it allows Jim that extra left-handed arm out of the bullpen.
The line on Jason Hamill, 5 innings. He gave up 4 runs on 6 hits. He walked 3. He hit a batter. He struck out a couple. He also had a wild pitch. So was not the finest outing of Jason Hamill's career, but right now in the clubhouse, his team's ahead 7-4, and that's all that matters.
He did make a couple good pitches at the end, though, when he needed to. The one, the strikeout of Matt Kemp, and then getting James Loney on the ground out.
Yeah, without question, the pitch of his outing was the slider to strike out Kemp with 2 aboard. And Morales just kind of shortened the leg kick a little bit, Huey. Hit strike 1 with Juan Uribe.
And hopefully that'll keep his head more still, so it'll allow him to throw more strikes. How violent that used to be, where you really bring that leg up high and hard, and then when you do that, it throws your body off. Sometimes you don't have the balance that you need, and then your head would start to drift, and everything revolves around the head being able to stay still so you can throw to the plate.
A shout out on Chris Inetta from the Virgin Islands. That misses 2-1. See that?
Nice.
Happy to see the Rockies manufacturing some runs the old-fashioned way. Good point, Jared, up in Fort Collins. 2-1 on Uribe. And it's fouled off. Plenty of giddy up on that fastball at 94.
There's never been a question about that. I like that Wilmington, North Carolina getting production from everybody in the lineup.
I like how Lopez has started. That's David in Arvada. Yeah, you got to be impressed with a lot of shout outs to Chris Iannetta. Terrific
Rightfully
start.
so.
Yeah. 2-2. He fooled him. Uribe a strikeout victim. Nice job, Franklin Morales. Get that first guy. And that'll bring up. They're going to go to the bench now. Xavier Paul is scheduled.
Boy, the tight rotation from that Exmo showed it on that pitch.
This is Marcus Timms. Former Tiger, former New York Yankee. That's 95.
Yeah, I think Chacin will have a breakout year too. Not that last year wasn't bad. Second time for him though. He gets it.
That's a strike also. Just showed you the Dodger bullpen. That's the former Minnesota Twin, Matt Guerrero, who's been a busy man the last few years. A lot of appearances with the Twins. See you later. 3 pitches and Timms is sent back to the dugout.
Well, the last 2 guys he struck out, first Uribe and now Timms with the slider. 80 miles an hour. And this one was better than the one he threw to Uribe. That one had some late bite to it.
You could see on the Exmo how much he missed that pitch by.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a lot. It wasn't just an inch or so. That was 4 to 5 inches he missed.
Ron Barajas takes a strike. Morales pounding the strike zone. You got to love this. 9 pitches, 7 have been in the zone. It's Filippo Paulino. You dizzy yet? Huey, you okay?
I like that shot. Right over the top.
0-2.
We haven't had that shot before, have we?
I like this shot. The one that, you know, kind of shook the tummy a little bit. I'm not as fond of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool. That is a great angle with the bullpen. See you
Oh,
later.
wow.
You talk about a dominant. You talk about a dominant inning. Hold on, they're going to call everybody back.
Foul ball.
Everybody's got to come back.
Barajas must have fouled that and it hit the dirt. Because
Well,
immediately
Iannetta lifted his glove as if to say he caught it in the air.
They went down to Bruce Dreckman down at first base immediately.
Well, now punch him out. Oh, come on. Bruce.
Come on, Bruce.
He struck out 6 times already.
In the inning, Franklin Morales has 5 strikeouts. Boy, that certainly looked like he went.
All right, it's 1-4 on Barajas. Don't see too many 1-4 counts. Like 8-year-old practice. You need to get to stay up there till you put one in play, huh?
Slider. That's what I'd throw him.
He did. And this one's popped up. Tulowitzki will grab it. Bruce Dreckman says, yep, that's an out. What a very fine inning of work for Franklin Morales. Well done. look back. There's been some balls hit out of the ballpark. The Rockies led 2-0, and James Loney went deep off of Jason Hamill, and then Rod Barajas went deep to tie up the baseball game. The Dodgers would take a 4-2 lead. The Rockies would come back. 2 outs for Todd Helton, high and deep right field, and gone. And then in the 4th inning, Troy Tulowitzki, not unfamiliar with jogging around the bases. His second home run in as many ball games, a 2-run shot with cargo aboard. That's brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address on South Broadway in Littleton. Go check them out. And the new left fielder, Marcus Timms, who pinch hit for Xavier Paul, stays in the ball game. Kelly Jansen is still out there. Seth Smith to lead it off. 2, 3, and 4 for the Rockies. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, the guys that used to catch you, typically they're not going to be long on the backside. They're used to bringing the ball right to their ear pretty much. And Randy Wells is that way. I mean, Heath Bell must have some catching in his background, the way he throws, it looks like.
Definitely. And I know where you're going with this. It's a little bit different with Jansen because he's a little bit more of a long armor.
Yep.
He comes back just a little bit more and drops it down, and not that short, compact, boom, it's right on you type of thing. Now watch when he pulls the ball out of his glove where his right hand drops way down by his back leg, kind of stabs back there.
Yeah, a little bit. Of course, we know a guy who stabs quite a bit who's been very successful, Ubaldo Jimenez.
Rick Sutcliffe used to stab back there.
Yeah, big time. You get a lot of empty swings, though. So the ball has finish to it, coming out of the hand, I should say, of Jansen. 2-2.
Oh, he just hides it behind that body for so long. He's a big guy, a lot of long levers, and his fingers gets it out on the end of those and gets that good whip on the baseball.
7-4 Colorado as they hit the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be a quick turnaround off to Pittsburgh after the ball game. And tomorrow is the home opener at PNC Park for Clint Hurdle's Pirates. So it'll be a day ball game.
They won again today, 3-1. They're 4-2 now on the season.
Yep, they won at Busch Stadium. Here's the 3-2. And this ball is hit pretty well left center field, but Timms was slid over in that direction, and he makes the catch. 1 gone. That'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. Cargo, a double and an RBI in the 1st, a walk and a run scored in the 3rd, a single and a run scored in the 4th. Jansen goes off speed. It's 0-1.
I like early in the season when you can have a good day, your average raises 100 points almost. Carlos coming into the game was hit 333. Now he's 429. Conversely, if you're struggling, you're down in the 100s, 097, though that area, couple knocks, you're right back up to the high 200s.
Here's the 0-2. And a ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. Uribe. He got him. What a play by Juan Uribe.
And let's not forget the pick by James Loney either over at first base. Wasn't sure Uribe had this kind of range in him still. He just pulled over to the pull side a little bit, able to backhand it in one motion, just get the throw off. Watch the pick from James Loney. That's not an easy one because it's not a short hop or a long hop. It's an in-between one, and you just have to hope that when you throw your glove out there, your hands are soft enough to keep the ball in there and you don't highlight out of your glove where you catch it and then you end up throwing it away out of your glove.
Slider for a strike, or it's probably a heater.
Just had a little cut on it.
Yeah, had a little cut on it. 0-1.
look at this pick from James Loney. I mean, this is a hard play, and you throw your glove out there, and he just kept his hand soft enough to keep the ball in there.
And keep the foot on the bag.
Yeah.
Will throw out Tulowitzki. Jansen for the 1-2-3 6th inning. We'll move to the 7th. The Rockies up 7-4 on Los Angeles. Time for the Home Depot doing more on defense. We saw this play last night, I believe. We've seen it before. Juan Uribe's seen it. He didn't like it. A great backhand and throw across the body. Always right on the money, it seems like, Tulowitzki. The Home Depot doing more on defense. Tulowitzki cutting down Uribe earlier in the ball game. Well, Franklin Morales was so good in that 6th inning. Jim Tracy said, go get him again. Jamie Carroll's going to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot. And then it'll be for Call and Casey Blake. And that's in there for a strike. And I think for Franklin Morales, this is kind of a focus check, because he probably walked off the mound after getting those 3 outs thinking, okay, you know what, I did my job.
Yeah, but now he also has to think that he's that guy out in the bullpen that might have to be the long guy. So you got to stretch him out a little bit. And without an off day until the 21st of April, you're going to be playing a lot of games in a row. So if all of a sudden you start to go to Morales and you're thinking, okay, Paulino next inning, and then maybe Lindstrom after that, well, you might need them tomorrow because you got Rogers starting tomorrow. So those are the thought processes for Jim Tracy, and saying, you know what, I've got to go ahead and try to stretch him out for a couple innings here. I understand what you're saying, that 1 inning was good. But for Franklin to be successful in this club, we might need him to pitch 2 or 3 innings at some point during the season. Yeah, and maybe even on this road trip.
Yeah, to your point, there was no guy that was clearly designated as the long haul guy coming out of the spring. Now, there's guys who've, it's interesting, there's been a lot of guys that have worked as a starter. Even Matt Belisle was #1 pick, and he was a starting pitcher with the Reds. But that's clearly in his past. But Paulino, a month ago, was vying for the #5 spot in the rotation. And of course, Morales has been back and forth throughout his career. This ball in left center field. Hangs up for Dexter Fowler. Jamie Carroll is retired. 1 gone, and that'll bring up for Cobb, who is 0 for 2 and a walk.
First chance we've seen for Call now hit from the right side.
things they're going to have to do with Furcal, who was an all-star last year, but he played in less than 100 games. 2 years ago, he was healthy. 3 years ago, he was not at all. Knee injuries and back. They're not in back injuries. Whenever you talk about a back, and we've seen it with Todd Helton, it becomes a situation where you just can't run him out there every single day anymore, like he did in his years in Atlanta and his first couple of years in Los Angeles.
And I think that's where the Jamie Carrolls, the Aaron Miles come into play for the Dodgers. It's a day game today, but they had a day off on the front side, and they'll have a day off on the back side. That's why he's in the lineup. But check back in a month or so on a day game after a night game. More than likely, he's not going to be out there.
One ball and 2 strikes on Furcal. That barely missed. Franklin Morales thought he had him punched out.
Must have come just around in the outside part of the plate. Never caught the corner. Where Chris caught it, looked like it might be a strike, but prior to that, just away a little bit.
The Rockies have had some good bullpens. Back in '95, they really had a good bullpen. We've seen some good bullpens, recent vintages of the Rockies. This one has a chance, I think, to be really dynamic. Here's the 2-2, outside 3-2.
Well, I think because of all the power arms out there, that's to me what separates this bullpen from other ones in the past. When you can throw Betancourt out there, Belisle, Lindstrom, those power guys to come in and shut games down.
That's a base hit up the middle for Furcal. There's no soft tossers down there. The guy who probably doesn't throw, or throws least hard, describe it that way, is the closer, Houston Street. He's still, he'll touch 93.
Yeah, well, and Matt Reynolds from the left side. I mean, not a guy that was going to throw 95, but it's not like he's thumbing it up there at 86, 87 miles an hour. It's
88 to 92.
Right, exactly. And that's above average, but when you're talking about Paulino at 95, 96, Lindstrom, same thing, that's power.
Casey Blake's had a nice ball game, considering he's got more hits today than he had all of spring training. 1 for 13, and then the back got him. Not an spring training. Blake hit .248 last year with 17 home runs. He drove in 64. Second full year with the Dodgers. Fargo will move about 8-10 strides to his right and make the catch. 2 outs.
We've seen Franklin be able to throw some very nice off-speed pitches today.
4 strikes.
4 strikes. Yeah, that's a key point. 4 strikes, because it's not just out of the zone or trying to get him to swing, but they'll start into the zone, and by the time the hitter goes after him, then that's when they start to go out of the zone.
And you got the feeling when Frankie would struggle in seasons past, hitters, Jeff, they'd eliminate anything off speed because he wasn't able to throw it for a strike. And then they sit on the fastball and you say, well, it's still mid-90s. Well, I mean, you guys are pretty good if you know what's coming.
Right, and that's why you're at the big league level, because you can hit those 94 miles an hour fastballs, 96, whatever it is, because you don't have to worry about anything off speed.
Lethier went around 1-1. And he has been working at 94 miles an hour. He's been sitting on 94. He's hit 95.
Well, remember when he was closing all those ball games? That's what he was sitting at, 94 to 95 miles an hour, not trying to pace himself.
Went back a few years and looked at my Baseball America scouting handbook, and they do such a great job of not only with amateur scouting and compiling reports on young professional players as well. And they had Franklin Morales projected down the road as at the top of the Rockies rotation, and they had Ubaldo Jimenez projected as the Rockies closer. And it basically flip-flopped for a while. Jimenez became, as we all know, the ace of the Rockies staff, and Morales at different times has been the closer. But it was based on the fact they thought that Morales would throw more strikes than Jimenez, I guess.
Well, it just shows you how inexact science baseball is.
You bet. Franklin Morales, we said a terrific inning last inning. How about 2 terrific innings? Rockies up 3 runs, stretch time. It's brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. The Rockies got 2 in the first inning, and then all of a sudden found themselves behind 4-2. No problem. Todd Helton hit a 3-run jack in the 3rd inning. The Rockies got a 2-run home run from Tulowitzki in the 4th. And the bullpen so far has been outstanding. The bullpen has been Franklin Morales in relief of Jason Hamill, who went 5. And the Rockies carry a 7-4 lead to the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be Todd Helton leading off, Jose Lopez and Ian Stewart. A couple changes to tell you about. Matt Guerrero is now on the hill in his first season for the Dodgers, and he misses away ball 1. Uribe's gone to 3rd. Jamie Carroll stays in the ball game. He is at second base. So Blake has come out. That's now the pitcher's spot. If you keep a book at home, this ball is driven to deep right field, and it is a foul ball. Todd has hit a home run, and he hit a ball within a step of the wall in dead center field, and that ball was well hit down the right field line.
Oh, Matt, on Sunday against the Giants, a 1/3 of an inning, just 12 pitches. This guy has been a workhorse since 2007, over 311 innings pitched.
And this ball to left field. Marcus Timms will make the catch. Yeah, I mean, that bears repeating. He's averaging more than 70 outings a year. And I don't know if you caught what Brian Cashman said about.
Yes, I did.
Pedro Feliciano, who had spent the last 3 years with the Mets. The Yankees signed him in the offseason, and he's had arm soreness and hasn't been able to go yet for the Yankees. And he called. I thought this was rather strange, and I have great respect for Brian Cashman. But I thought it was rather strange what he said. He basically was very critical of the Mets organization, saying that, you know, they were abusive with Feliciano. And The Mets responded by saying, hey, he never turned down the baseball.
And Feliciano said the same.
And Feliciano said he wanted the baseball. In fact, there were times that he wanted it and they didn't give it to him. And it was the Yankees and Brian Cashman, knowing how many outings he had in the previous 3 years, that went out and signed him. And the Mets said that's one of the reasons we didn't re-sign him.
One quick thing here. Aren't they in the same city?
They are.
Okay, I'm just saying, wouldn't you know that before you sign the guy?
I don't care whether they're in the same city or not. It's pretty easy to look up how many appearances a guy has,
it's
right?
Even easier there.
Yeah.
3-year deal for Matt now with the Dodgers.
The other Matt Lindstrom, is up for the Rockies. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jose Lopez. 1 for 3 in the ball game. An RBI single in the first, and this is bounced to third. And Uribe will throw out Lopez. 2 gone. Ian Stewart comes up 0 for 3. Trying to break the ice on the 2011 season. Ball 1.
Well, Matt presets in his glove with a circle change because it's easier to move from that to something else. Well, here he moved from the circle change to the last slider that he just threw to Jose Lopez, where he gets those 2 fingers close together and just pulls through the baseball.
Two and 2 on Stewart. Raised in Southern California in Orange County, now makes his home with his wife Susan and their baby in Asheville, North Carolina. I said 2 and 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strike 3. Stewart caught looking for the 2nd time today. 1-2-3 inning for Guerrero. 7-4 Rockies.
Top of the 8th inning, Matt Lindstrom getting set to throw to the Dodgers in the top of the 8th. You know, the Rockies have always been very good about promoting from within, developing their farm system, and when they found success with that formula in 2007, they didn't stray from it. There has not been much of a revolving door with this team. With Jamie Carroll back in town, former Rocky, now a Dodger, take a look at everybody that's currently in Colorado that was on that 2007 team. Todd Helton, Troy Tulowitzki, Ryan Spilborghs, Ian Stewart, Chris Iannetta, Seth Smith, Ubaldo Jimenez, and Aaron Cook. And we threw you a curveball. Willie Taveras is still with the organization down in AAA Colorado Springs. Guys, once these guys find players they like, they keep them and they stick around.
Well, you want to keep your nucleus. I mean, that's the key. There's always going to be turnover on a 25-man roster, even for a championship caliber club. But you want to keep your nucleus, and that's why hats off to Dick and Charlie Montfort and Dan O'Dowd for signing Tulowitzki long-term, Carlos Gonzalez long-term. Matt Lindstrom out on the hill, and this ball is pretty well hit and was misjudged by Fowler. Matt Kemp is going to have himself a double. Dexter didn't realize that ball was hit as well as it was.
Well, just from the sound, it didn't sound like it was going to go that far, and Dexter froze for a second. There's Dexter out in center field. He thinks he has it, but then that ball just cuts away from him.
James Loney at the plate. Kemp at second. Loney homered in the second inning against Jason Hamill. Hamill on the plus side. Rockies ran off Chad Billingsley after 3 innings. He threw more than 80 pitches in 3 innings.
86 pitches, only 49 for strikes.
That fastball at 97 miles an hour from Lindstrom.
It goes back to that power arm that I was talking about last half inning coming out of the bullpen.
That was at 96. Lindstrom's one of those guys, big and strong and a workout fiend. I mean, this guy is put together.
He reminds me a lot of a guy I played with in Kyle Farnsworth. Same type of body, same arm, can throw it through a brick wall.
And by the way, I'm going to ask him, see, we list him at 6'3", 218 pounds, and we take that right out of the guy. And what happens is, you know, Huey, there's the 0-2. This is ground ball right side. Kemp to third. What happens is, once you sign professionally, it's like you're locked in forever at that height and weight. And typically the height's not going to change, but weight-wise, for instance, the other day I was kidding Jim Armstrong, our friend with the Denver Post, because he was talking about the collision at home plate between Justin Upton and Chris Iannetta. And Justin Upton is listed at 205 pounds. Justin Upton hasn't seen 205 since his 15th birthday. And I'm exaggerating only slightly. I mean, he's about 230 pounds.
And a rock.
Well, Lindstrom's not 218.
No.
Lindstrom's probably 230. This ball to the right side. Lopez, can he get an out? Yep. The run will score. It's 7-5 on the RBI ground out by Uribe. Nice play by Lopez.
Well, that's 3 balls now that Uribe should have base hits on today, but he doesn't. This time, Lopez goes far to his left, and the easy way to do it then, once you get it as a second baseman, is to spin and make the play on the ground.
Second at bat for Marcus Timms since pinch hitting and staying in the ball game for Xavier Paul.
So to go back to your point for a second, he's probably 225, I would think.
Yeah.
230 is Matt Lindstrom.
Swung on and missed. So I'm just going back just to prove my point. Todd Helton has been in the game for a long time now. He's listed at 6'2", 215. We were talking to Todd the other day, and he's started camp at 2 1/4. He started the season at 2 1/4. That's what he weighs right now. Swung on and missed. Matt Lindstrom strikes out Timms. The Dodgers do carve out a run after a leadoff double by Matt Kemp. 7-5, middle of 8. Time for our Excel Energy save of the game. How about this play by Seth Smith in deep right center field, taking a double away from Juan Uribe. He's played great defense to the start of this season. It's to be expected. They have very good defensive players at virtually every spot on the diamond. That's brought to you again by Excel Energy. Find all the ways you can save energy around your home at responsiblebynature.com. And a pop-up to shallow left field for Col, venturing out, and will make the catch. Chris Ionetta's retired. Coming up in the postgame, Toyota Talk will continue. We're asking you to tell us your early impressions on the 2011 Colorado Rockies. You can do that during the postgame show. Text Toyota followed by 720-720. Houston Street will be looking for his third save unless the Rockies blow this thing open here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Ty Wigginton will pinch hit here for Matt Lindstrom. Wigginton hit the ball hard yesterday. He had only one hit. The hardest ball he hit was caught by Uribe at third. Almost carried Juan into the left field.
It almost went through the webbing of his glove. It was hit so hard. The first 10,000 fans on April 17th will receive an Aldo Jimenez no-hitter commemorative bobblehead courtesy of Wells Fargo. Game against the Chicago Cubs. First and only time the Cubs will be here at Wrigley Field this year.
So we were kidding Wigginton the other day. We said, hey, did you realize, because Helton was within earshot, did you realize how crazy Helton was? And he said, oh, I think he's normal. I said, he and I, we're normal. Everybody else is a little bit off. High fly ball down the left field line, and it is twisting into the crowd. Foul.
I think it just goes to show you how well Ty Wigginton fits into this ball club.
Yes, he does. And that's another area that this organization in the last half dozen years has done such a terrific job. Not only evaluating talent, and you're going to miss some,
sure.
I mean, it's the nature of the business, but evaluating character. And they've hit close to 1,000 in that regard.
Well, see all the names that was on the Alana's list. We'll show you that.
That's a good pitch, and Wigginton is gone. As Guerrero gets his second strikeout despite slipping on the hill.
Nice when you're able to throw a fastball where you want to and still slip on the mound.
Maybe that slip gave him a less sink at the end.
That's unusual on a big league mound, though, when it's not wet, to have guys slip like that.
So I think this is an important at bat for Dexter. It's a carryover at bat. He's 0 for 4, a couple of punch outs today. And he's swung and missed at that pitch quite a bit. And I say carry over tomorrow. Carry a positive thought with you into tomorrow's ball game by your final at bat. Isn't that sometimes all it takes, Huey?
Well, it really is, and it could be as little as just making a good swing at the ball and hitting it hard. Laying off a pitch that you have swung at the whole game, getting a walk, whatever it is, you just feel a little bit better when you go to hop on that plane for that 3.5-hour plane ride to Pittsburgh.
It's not going to take us that long, is it?
I don't know. I'm not going.
Now a bouncer to second. Jamie Carroll throws out Dexter Fowler. We'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies +2 on the scoreboard. Houston Street will try to nail down the final 3 outs. rapid rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. With Jeff Houston and Alana Rizzo, I'm Drew Goodman. Coming up immediately following these final 3 outs, as orchestrated by Houston Street, we'll have the Toyota post-game show. And for a Toyota post-game preview, here's our friend Tom Helmer. Tom?
Yeah, Drew, sooner than later. Todd Helton took him 33 games last year, did a home run. He does it this season in just 4 games. We'll break down his performance. Also, Morales booster Franklin Morales came in, had a great 1-2-3 inning. And, of course, we'll hear from the skipper. And we'll keep the Toyota text going. Of course, we're getting your thoughts on the first 4 games of the season. What's pleased you about this Rockies team? We'll have that running throughout the Toyota post-game show. Drew?
Hey, you're in July form.
I'm trying to hit on all cylinders.
Morales booster, I love it.
Trying to come out of the gate strong this year, which means I'll probably taper off and hit a downslide as we move along. But
you get the dead arm, the dead brain period.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Which runs for about 4 months for me. Then I try and come back strong in September.
All right, Tom. Hey, rest up. We don't want one today.
You got it.
All right. That's Tom Helmer out in center field. Don't forget, Toyota Talk continues during the entire post-game show as well. So keep texting in your thoughts on your early impressions on the 2011 Rockies. Houston Street will be looking for his 3rd save. He had a quick and efficient save last night.
Yeah,
and he'll face Rod Barajas to begin.
Just 10 pitches, 8 of them for strikes in last night's ball game, and he was able to throw the changeup, the slider, and the fastball, but everything was knee-high or below.
Sharply hit down the left field line, and Barajas will stop at first as Cargo got to it in a hurry. So it's a leadoff single past a diving Ian Stewart, and that will bring up Jamie Carroll.
Well, I talked about last night everything was down. Well, this first pitch is up. And Barajas hits it past diving Ian Stewart. Fortunately, Carlos was able to get over there and cut it off and keep Barajas at first, because now you still have the double play in order.
Second at bat for Carroll. He had a fly ball to center field, pinch hitting in the 7th. Stayed in the ball game at second. It's in there for a strike. Speed pitch. Slider that's tough for a right-hander to handle. There's guys, Jeff, aren't there, whose sliders you see a little earlier than others, and typically Houston Street, when he's on, it's a real late breaking slide.
It has a little depth to it at the end too, and the last 5 or 7 feet when you go to swing at it, it just falls away from you like that one. Jamie Carroll, I don't know how he was able to foul that one off. The late slide that you're talking about right there, Drew, where it goes down, and Jamie just fought it off enough. Chris looked like right on the shin guard, but part of that ankle as well.
Oh-2, 1-2. Rafael Furcal on deck, and then if it goes beyond that, the Dodgers pitcher spot is in the 2-hole. So the only people available, A.J. Ellis and the switch hitter Hector Jimenez. That's a fair ball. Gonzalez does a great job of keeping that out of the corner. He fell down for a second. Barajas still stayed at second base. And now it's a different situation. If you're LA, you have 2 on. You have the go-ahead run at the plate.
And right before that pitch, Richie Dower had moved Ian Stewart off the line just a little bit, because they were trying to go away with that slider, but they came back inside. Jamie hooked it into inside the third base line.
Nobody out. Street had a roller coaster of a ride for a save on Saturday night. The first two have reached here on Wednesday afternoon.
You're just not quite sure what Call's going to do, because it's a two-run ball game. Nobody out on the road. A lot of times you won't see a guy bunt in this situation, but Call's such a good base hit bunter that he might do it on his own to try to load the bases.
He broke his bat on that slider. Yeah, it really shakes up the defense. At home, you play for the tie. On the road, you play for the lead naturally, because you don't have the last at bat.
But just seeing where Ian Stewart now has to play, we see Matt Reynolds and Felipe Paulino up and tossing for the Rockies. But now Ian Stewart has to play on the grass, because it goes back to my point I was making. You're not sure what he's going to do. Todd's inside the base runner over at first base, and Jamie Carroll hugging the line a little bit more now.
In the air, left center field, pretty well hit. Cargo going back. He reaches up and makes the catch. There have been a few balls hit in this game that have fooled the outfielders, and the ball just must be traveling. I don't know, the wind doesn't seem to be a factor at all. The flags aren't blowing, but the ball is. We saw Seth Smith have to reach up late. We saw Dexter Fowler misjudge a ball last inning from Matt Kemp, and Cargo had to reach up late here.
Yeah, and what you're seeing a little bit is with the gray sky, the lights really can't take effect over the gray sky. So it's not like you have a natural daylight where you pick up the ball, or the darkness of night where the artificial lights or the stadium lights take over. And I think that is what you're seeing now from the outfielders. Carlos just has a recovery speed to go be able to get that ball.
Guys, I'm back down here at field level. You would not believe the reaction that Call had. He could not believe it. He got to first base, looked up, Cargo grabbed the ball. He absolutely was stunned that didn't go further.
Well, we said this the other day when Gonzalez made that great diving catch on the left field line in the series against Arizona. There aren't many left fielders who make that catch.
No, and that's why he wins gold, or going to win a lot of Gold Gloves.
Hector Jimenez, a switch hitting journeyman catcher's at the plate. Change up away, ball one. The Rockies have been fortunate this inning that the leadoff man in the inning who got the hit is maybe the slowest man in uniform in Rod Barajas, because there have been a couple of occasions where most other players would have been able to move up.
Well, even his base hit down the line, most guys are at second base.
So the double play remains in order, and an option obviously on a ball hit to the third baseman Stewart. He has a bag there.
Well,
1 ball, 1 strike.
And the other thing, I want to throw in a little bad base running by Barajas, because with nobody out, the rule of thumb is to go back to second base and tag. If he catches it, then you walk over to third. If it gets over his head, you're still going to be able to score.
Good pitch. 1 and 2.
Fastball with some tail on it off the plate, just enough. Jimenez was tardy with that swing.
One and 2 on Jimenez. Swung on and missed. 2 outs. And now to come down to Houston Street, and Andre Ethier.
Everything has been off the plate. There's nothing that was in the 4 strike zone. But this is what you get with a young, inexperienced guy that comes to the plate in a pressure situation in the 9th inning.
You know, Andre Ethier is not the guy that Jim Tracy or any Rockies fan wanted to see up in the 9th inning. Not only is he the most accomplished hitter for the Dodgers, he is Mr. Clutch. 1 for 3. With a strikeout in his lifetime matchups with Street. I thought there'd be more. the outside corner. And I imagine Street will stay away, away, away.
Yeah, because he's going to have to try to beat you going the opposite field. And what you have now with the Rockies outfielders, they're playing no doubles. They're really deep. Todd Helton's hugging the line over at first base. But you're trying to make sure that tying run and Jamie Carroll does not score if he hits the ball in the gap.
Fastball again, 1-1. Barajas a single at second. Carroll singled. He's at first. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2 on a changeup.
And a dandy changeup at that.
The Street works out of this. Don't forget the play. You see the swing and miss. Don't forget the plays made by Gonzalez to prevent two balls that typically are doubles not to get in the corner. I know his manager won't forget.
Nope.
And his 24 teammates. It's not just great catches that you make sometimes that earn you plaudits as a defensive player.
But think about the two areas he had to go. He had to go over towards the line, towards the wall, and then he had to go over his head more into the gap. I mean, we talk about range for infielders. Well, how about the range is Carlos in the outfield?
1-2 on Ethier with 2 on. He's got him. Street nails it down. And the Rockies win 3 of their first 4 here at home to begin the 2011 season. And it's the mini sweep of the Dodgers. And boy, that feels especially good. All the problems the Rockies have had with LA, particularly here at 20th and Blake.
Well, another changeup, and back-to-back changeups now for the strike 2 and strike 3 of Ethier. Grips the ball, turns that wrist over, comes out of the hand looking like a fastball. Yeah, Carlos, you should be saying yeah, because you had a lot to do with that last inning as well.
Nice win for the Rockies, 7-5. Time for our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Rockies trailed 4-2. Helton with 2 aboard. Hits a towering fly ball to right that landed just over the scoreboard and turned a Rockies 2-run deficit into a 5-4 lead. And they would march on from there. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. The Rockies 7, the Dodgers 5. Off to Pittsburgh. The Rockies are 3-1.